The first Sunday of the season, and as is the tradition, it's Kids Sunday at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, as the Rays look to secure a split of this opening series of 2018 with their AL East rival, the Boston Red Sox. And a very happy Easter to one and all. Thanks for making us part of your family on Easter Sunday with Orestes Destrada. I'm Rich Hollenberg inside Tropicana Field. Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson will have the call for you in just a moment. First 3 games of this series have been decided by a grand total of 4 runs. The Rays have 1 win in those 3 games. So the pitching's been on point, and the much anticipated arrival of young Jake Faria for his first start of his sophomore season.
It is for me, and you know I'm a big fan of Jake Faria. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, because he's a workhorse. He's that type of guy that can give you the extra innings. He has a lot of focus, a lot of confidence. But that only works if you've got good stuff, and he does. You see the high fastballs right there, Rich. What he gives you is he's got to be on point with the high fastball. Then he'll work on the breaking pitch. There it is, that changeup, that split that he's even adding a little tweak to it, and how he's kind of turning it over a little more. So he's got a little more depth, more tilt to it. And then a curveball that also kind of is very, very good. So it's a type of guy that's really has it all.
Since it's Kids Sunday, here's something Jake does to keep his mechanics strong with a little help from Doug Wechter.
Hey, here with Jake Faria, and we're talking about drills that we do throughout the offseason and in-season to be able to keep your mechanics correct when you go out to the mound. Everybody's unique. Every pitcher has their own kind of drills, and Jake has a unique drill that he's going to show us today. I don't even know what you call it, the hop drill?
Yeah, it's kind of, there's 2 parts to it. There's a little bit of a leg lift drill, and then a hop that I do. It just kind of helps me really keep my weight on my back leg.
Awesome. Go ahead and show us, and if you could walk us through what you're doing and what it helps you to perform.
Yeah, so up until I get to about 90 feet out, I'll do the leg lift part of it, where I really just come set like I'm in the stretch. My weight really set this far, really far back on my leg, so that when I lift and go to throw, I can really practice lifting with this hip, and it keeps the weight on this back leg so I can drive off and use that weight, use that power to shift towards home plate. And I try to lift straight from my hip so it keeps me from pulling my weight this way, so everything stays on line going straight towards home.
Right, so it's more of a linear thing for you. It sounds like you want to make sure your direction is straight toward home, and then also it's a balance thing for you. Is the balance part really a key for you?
Yeah, absolutely, because the big thing that me and Kyle talk about is it's not about the amount of force you create, it's the direction in which you create it. So that's the big part where the hip comes in, is really trying to keep that weight over this leg, so when you do create that drive, it's in the direction you want to go. So once I get past about 90 feet, I go from doing the leg lift drill to the hop, which is I just stand right over this back leg. And when I jump, I just jump straight up in the air, and that weight coming down on that back leg really forces me down and helps me drive towards home plate. So I'll just go through it real quick. Just straight up, the weight comes down, and I just drive off that back heel mainly straight to my target.
Yeah, it sounds like that's more to build your power up as well, not just balance, right?
Yeah, it's just really trying to simulate that feeling of, when you're in delivery, trying to, sink down, and just really getting that leg used to holding that weight back there and keeping that balance point.
7 straight consecutive quality starts to start his career. Last year, the Rays would love nothing more than that today in the opener for Jake Faria. Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson with the call right after this.
car insurance. Rays and the Red Sox go at it this afternoon as the Rays conclude the first homestand of the year. This short 4-gamer will have all the action coming up. Versus the rival Red Sox, the Rays have dropped 2 straight. Today, right-hander Jake Faria goes to the hill, making his 2018 debut as Tampa Bay looks for a series split versus Boston. We welcome you to Tropicana Field for the wrap-up game of this series, where the Rays and the Red Sox conclude their business before the Rays hit the road and go up to New York to begin a 3-city road trip. But the business at hand this afternoon would be this Boston ball club for the Rays, lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. And this Boston club will have Mookie Betts leading off, followed by Devers and Martinez, Bogarts, Moreland, and Vasquez, the catcher down the middle. Bradley Jr., Swihart, and Holt rounding out that lineup. And Jake Faria on the hill. First pitch of this game comes in upstairs, a fastball, as we begin play. Betts had a double and a walk in last night's game for Boston. There's a strike. 1-1. The number foul. Faria originally slated to open that road trip against New York, but because of the situation involving Nathan Eovaldi and his right elbow, Faria pushed up one, so he's pitching the 4th game of the season here.
Yeah, a little bit of a scramble. They're going to go, you know, obviously Archer and Snell, bullpen day, Eovaldi, and then Faria, and a change of plans. But you know, you're young and excited to pitch, love pitching at home here at Tropicana Field, so you get that opportunity to make the quick adjustment.
We had to make an adjustment this spring, the early part of spring training. A challenge for Jake Faria, just out of sorts. It seemed that command was an issue, and he seemed to correct that. So the Rays certainly hopeful that that trend will continue, the correcting trend here today.
It was something that plagued him a little bit down the stretch a season ago, and obviously carried over into spring training. What you like is the way that he finished spring, and he finished on a strong note, kind of got things under control. And listen, you go through those rough spots. That's how you learn valuable lessons and learn how to make adjustments. He's been able to do that.
And the count is full on Betts. Kevin Cash looking on to get some offense from his club, and with that solid pitching and defense, there's a base hit out of the reach of Wendell. Soft liner that kept slicing away as Wendell moved to his left.
Well, let's take a look at a scouting report here on Jake Faria. Number one, the thing that jumps out at you, and we saw right off the bat a season ago, mound presence. He does a great job of commanding the mound. Very stoic, very poised, very determined when he's out there. That's number one. Number two, pound the zone, because you go through his first 9 starts a season ago, a ton of success, a 5-1 record, 267 earned run average, and 16 pitches an inning. And then, like I said, down the stretch, the command suffered a little bit, and the results, mirrored that. He was up near 18 pitches an inning and ended up going 0-3 down the stretch. So when he's out there commanding and pounding the zone, the results follow.
First pitch strike to Devers. Betts at first. Devers coming off the 10 home runs last year in just under 60 games. Fly ball into right. Gomez is right there, and he makes the catch.
Let's take a quick look at the Rays defense and see how it will line up here this afternoon. Brought to you by our good friends at Golden Diamond Source. And in the outfield, left to right, Malcolm Smith out there once again, Kiermaier and Gomez. And across that infield, third to first, Duffy, Echeverria, Wendell, and Miller. Wilson Ramos back behind the plate.
This is J.D. Martinez. He went the first couple of games without a hit. Had a double and a single last night for Boston. No ball, no strikes from Jake Faria.
And I know what you're thinking, Dwayne. The scouting report on Jake Faria, I'm thinking the same thing if I'm sitting at home. Talking about pounding the zone, you have more success. And everybody goes, well, no kidding. But what it has allowed him to do is to get deeper into games, too. And that's something that through those first 9 starts, keeping that pitch count in order, he gets 6+ innings in 8 out of 9, as opposed to 18 pitches per. And all of a sudden those outings become shorter and shorter, more stress on the bullpen, and that's something the Rays do not need here in 2018. There's going to be enough stress on that bullpen.
Yeah, and that goes right back to his major league debut. Remember with the game against the White Sox, came out, made a little over 20 pitches in the first inning, and then from there on out put it all together. I think he had an 8-pitch inning, a 10-pitch inning, maybe 114 somewhere in the mix. And we saw that as the trend early for him, getting off to a great start in his major league career. And you're right, the Rays certainly need that now within the span of 2 series and just a handful of games, factoring in a couple of bullpen days to begin these games. That's the term they're using. They're not starts, they're begins. Tapper going to be foul, holding the count at 1-2.
You know what? And so far, so good. You're talking about a very good lineup here with the Boston Red Sox, and through the first 3 games of the series and the season, they've only given up 7 earned runs. That puts you in a position to win each of those games. Now, it hasn't happened because Boston pitching has been a little bit better, but they have certainly answered the bell here in the early going.
Yeah, and that's the thing when you try to evaluate the first 3 games. Rays not scoring many runs, but you've got a couple of Cy Young quality guys you're dealing with in this rotation for Boston. Last night we saw Porcello. Rays finally got a run off a Boston starter. 6 scoreless innings for Sale and 7 scoreless for Price, and then the Rays got a run in 5 1/3 off Porcello. So you try to evaluate that. Where is the offense? Is it the offense or is it the opposing pitching? And you know, when you look at those guys right there, they're going to shut some people down.
Yep.
And the Rays pitching's been pretty good. Runner's going. The pitch is down and the throw is not in time. It one hops in. You know, we noticed Betts leaning a lot on the times that he tried to run early in this series, and he was doing the same thing there. He gets out there and leans.
Yeah, look at that right there. You're not worried at all about the move of Faria and any right-hander when you're leaning that much. We didn't see him do it as much with Ryan Yarbrough, the lefty out on the mound. Obviously, Yarbrough's looking right at him, right through him. But a definite lean there, and I'll tell you what, a little bit better pitch to handle. I mean, that was as good as Ramos could have scooped and thrown that down to second and made it a lot closer than it should have been.
Now the count is full to Martinez. He lifts it foul. So a couple of full counts here to the first 3 hitters. And that pitch count up to 17. And you'd really love to see him just settle in, get through this inning unscored upon, and then see if he can build from there.
The first start of the year. You know, it's not opening day, but it's your opening day, and there are going to be some nerves.
And that is strike 3 call. You got him looking at that fastball, and a big pitch right there for the second out. And that brings up Xander Bogaerts. Boy, what a start he is having.
Well, he's hitting what, 667, 8 out of 12, 5 doubles, a home run. He scored 4 times, and the Rays have just not had an answer for him. I mean, pitches right out over the plate like that 4-seam fastball, puts a perfect swing on it. We've seen him lengthen swings, keep the bat in the zone for a long time to be able to give himself a chance. He right now is locked in at the plate. The numbers scream that out.
The pitch is a strike. You know, scoring runs often breaks down to how many scoring opportunities you have. The Red Sox, this will be the 28th at bat they've had with a man in scoring position in this series, compared to just 12 at bats for the Rays with runners in scoring position. Cut the miss, 0-2.
Yeah, and how many of those came in the 8th inning of opening day? You know, with runners on, the bases loaded, some walks. I mean, there's a number of those at bats used up right
all
out of
the
the
runs
gate.
came then.
Yep.
Pitch covered up, blocked by Ramos. It's 1-2. Well, for those who were wondering about Bogaerts and his extra base capability and run production, you know, he's always been a great young hitter. That's the other thing about him when you think how young he is. And last year was a situation where he was not delivering a lot of extra base hits. Different story this time. Fly ball into right. Gomez back. He's waiting to make the catch to retire the side. A man left and second. Scoreless first for Faria. Rays coming in to hit. Wilson Ramos hits 7th in front of Malik Smith, and Adeiny Echeverria will bat 9th.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Boston Red Sox, right-hander Hector Velazquez. And you saw what he did a season ago with the Boston Red Sox. He appeared in 8 games. 3 of them were starts. I mean, between May and the end of the season, he was up and down 5 different times. And I know, Dwayne, you have quite the story on the pursuit and signing of Hector Velazquez that you will share with us. But he's an interesting story, to say the least.
Indeed. Here's the first pitch, and it's a strike call. Well, they list him as 28, and let's assume that he is.
I love how there's that little bit of a question now. Well, they say.
Yeah, that's exactly
which means
right.
that you're not buying it. You're probably believing that I'm not buying it.
Well, here's a guy who comes essentially out of nowhere off into the major leagues. He's pitched in Mexico. He's 29 years old, and suddenly the Red Sox signed him, I think, for $30,000. And the next thing you know, he's at AAA, hopping back and forth, getting a little big league time. It's one of those great baseball stories that really sort of goes back a few years. You know, you used to see this a little more often. Foul ball. And today, you know, the name of the game is developing players and accumulating as much information and spin rates and all of that. You have to think that there wasn't a lot of spin rate went into the signing of Hector Velazquez.
Well, when you showed me on a map where they pulled him from, I don't think that you're allowed any spin rate down there. I think that's confiscated at the border.
Yeah, well, he pitched a long time in the Mexican leagues, and he was pitched for a team known as the Steelers of the North in the English translation, and I guess one of the big ironworks communities in Mexico, and their local team called the Steelers.
I wonder if they regularly beat the Browns from the north down there, because I know the Steelers of the North that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
Handle my Cleveland Browns twice a year, every year.
Yeah, well, that's been known to happen. Denard Span with a 2-2 count lifts it into left. It's J.D. Martinez in line to make the catch. So 1 away.
Let's take a peek at the Boston Red Sox defense, see how it's going to line up. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In that outfield left to right, of course, J.D. Martinez, then Jackie Bradley Jr., Mookie Betts. Infield third to first. Rafael Devers back out there with Bogarts, Brock Holt at second, Mitch Moreland, Christian Vasquez back behind the plate.
Kevin Kiermaier. High fly ball lifted deep to center. Bradley Jr. will have room just before he gets to the track, and he makes the catch. A couple of fly balls here to greet this right-hander, Hector Velazquez.
Velazquez not overpowering, but he will come at you. Fastball, slider, curveball, split. Like one of those curveballs like that. Carlos Gomez getting a hanger in the middle of the plate from Bobby Pointer, the young Bobby Pointer, and he deposited that out deep into left field. Brought to the Devil Rays last night to within 1. But that would be it.
Gomez breaks his bat and rolls it to shortstop. Ground ball picked up by Bogarts, and it's a 1-2-3 first. On to the second inning we go. No score.
yesterday about today's start, and he said his main objective is to be in the strike zone. He said that his goal is to throw 60 to 70% strikes. He said watching the first 3 games of the series, he is very aware of how aggressive the Red Sox hitters can be. And he mentioned that these guys have seen him twice last year in 2017, so this time he may have to make some adjustments. But looking at the matchup, guys, the only hitter on this roster available to play other than Mookie Betts today who has a hit against Faria is Andrew Benintendi. So he's had some success so far, guys.
And he faces Moreland, hits the ball sharply on the ground. Picked up and a little stumble there by Wendell, but he makes the play. And Moreland is out of there.
New turf. New turf. Joey Wendell in the shift, ranging to the left. Little field. Good balance, good recovery. Out number 1.
Well, after a 22-pitch first inning, 1 pitch, 1 out in the second. And that's what Faria is looking for. There's Vasquez, the catcher, Christian Vasquez.
Well, that's
interesting
that Faria kind of thinking along the same lines as we were as far as pounding the zone. And the thing that you like about Faria, if things start to get out of whack a little bit, his mechanics are so simple, they should be, in theory, easily fixable. I mean, he has very little wasted movement. You know, he starts with a, not directly facing home plate, but off to a little bit of an angle. And it's just a tap, lift the leg, and be linear and drive towards home plate. Very simple mechanically.
Yeah, and that's what was so strange about his first couple of outings in the spring, because he was really out of sorts.
Yeah.
His command was just not there.
The one thing that you can see where there could be problems for Jake, it's not the side to side, it's falling towards home plate a little too quick. Because right here, he's just going to be like tap straight up. Now you get going too soon.
Liner into right field, and that's caught by Gomez. And to alter his route there, surveying that one for a moment.
Yeah, and an awkward glove angle on that catch. That's a tough line drive to handle. Do you flip it over and try to basket catch it, or you go thumb down on the glove side? And that's not easy.
You know how a fly ball off the bat of a right-handed hitter will tail toward the right field line? That's a line drive that did that. And you get that ball on a line that starts to do that. That's what happens.
Sprain your thumb.
Yes.
What you do. That's like those catchers when they get caught getting thumbed like that.
Jackie Bradley Jr. takes the breaking ball. 1 ball and no strikes. There's ball 2, 2-0. Ground out and the line out, 2 up, 2 down in the second. There's a strike to Bradley Jr. That's fouled right back. Bradley Jr., 27 years old. And he can be aggressive up there, and a pitcher can take advantage of that.
And the Rays have. The Rays really have. They've had a great game plan against Jackie Bradley Jr. since he's come into the league, really. How many times, Dwayne, have we come into a series where, the buzz is Jackie Bradley Jr. is on a hot streak, and all of a sudden it cools down in a hurry? This Rays pitching staff has had some tremendous success against them, as you see right there.
It's headed out of play, and we'll see another full count pitch. And he lost him. And Bradley picks up the 2-out walk. A couple of quick outs and then the full count walk. A 7-pitch at bat for Bradley Jr. Blake Swihart, he's the DH. And he made this team on the basis of his versatility as a catcher. He can play first and third, the corner outfield. DHing in this game. And the first pitch strike.
Well, that tell you, that versatility has become so valuable throughout this game. You can almost expand your roster if you've got a guy that can do that many things. You think about corner outfield, corner infield, and catch, right? Pretty much everything.
That's strike 2. Bradley back and forth with that lead off of first base, trying to get a read on Faria.
Well, only 7 attempts this season ago against Faria, 3 successful, does have a pickoff, but with 2 outs, you wouldn't put it past him.
Pitch upstairs.
You know, and Mookie Betts, who's a very good base stealer, was able to get that bag off him in the first inning, but even on an off-speed pitch in the dirt, and Ramos made that play closer than it should have been. And so you're going to have to get a tremendous jump to be able to get Faria.
Now time as Faria held the ball out there on him.
Yeah, you know, you've got a pickoff move you can work with, but you also vary your times. And sometimes you'll get a sign from the catcher to just hold. And all you're going to hold the ball long enough to eventually that guy's going to call time, or you eventually step off, either one. That was a great shot of him.
And a little high there, up and away. Faria maybe a little quicker to the plate that time and missed up with it.
And that's what you got to be careful of. If you are going to speed up to the plate, you've still got to stay back on that, you know, your drive leg long enough to give your arm time to get to its release point. You drift a little too soon, arm can't catch up. There's a heavy lean again.
Now the runner goes, the pitch in the dirt, and there will be no throw this time, and Bradley picks the steal.
You know, we often look at, from that camera angle, you look at the left foot of the base runner, and if it gets out to the cut of that turf, then you know that's a big lead. And with Jackie Bradley Jr., he had moved that left foot out to the cut. You see the cut right there. You see where his foot is. And look at the lean, kind of like Mookie Betts. And again, they pick an off-speed pitch, this time the split to run on.
Yeah.
Wonder if they're seeing something.
Well, he was in the blocks. You know, that front foot was turned a bit. He was leaning. He had the big lead. So he was all set to go and did. Picks up the steal. Well, full count. And Swihart draws a walk. 2 quick outs and now back-to-back walks. Well, after the 22-pitch first, a great start to the second inning. And 2 outs on just 5 pitches, but a couple of walks. Now it'll be Brock Holt. Val Snyder, the Rays' new pitching coach, looking on. It's a first pitch strike. So they take the fastball for strike 1. We go to a ball and a strike. Well, this has now turned into a 20-pitch inning after retiring the first 2 men quickly. Foul the other way, out of play. Takes it to 1-2.
You know, you go back to the breakdown of Jake a season ago. The first 9 starts, his walk rate was about 2.67 walks per 9 innings. And then all of a sudden, when the command started to suffer a little bit, it was up over 4.3 walks per 9. And what has drawn up that pitch count here? The back-to-back walks with 2 outs.
To left, softly hit for Smith. Alex makes the catch, 2 walks, 2 left. Bottom of the 2nd coming, no score. And here's Brad Miller to open the home half of the 2nd against him. Matt Duffy will follow, and then Joey Wendell. There's a shot. High, back into deep right. Betts to the wall. Gone! Brad Miller on the first pitch hits it out. And the Rays take a 1-0 lead. Well, Brad Miller 2 years ago hit 30. That's #1 on this season.
Well, and you know what? He ambushed Velazquez. Velazquez has been doing something that the Boston pitching staff has been doing a lot of this series, and that is pitching the Rays in. First pitch fastball in, doesn't quite get there, and Brad Miller is able to turn it loose, get barrel to baseball, and give the Rays a lead. But we have seen this all series long. Boston pitching challenging the Rays on the inner half.
There's a liner base hit off the bat of Duffy. So Miller and Duffy come out swinging after the first pitch here in this inning.
Well, and this is what we're talking about right here. Chris Sale set the tone early. Fastball in, gets it by C.J. Cron. David Price picked up where he left off a night later. A lot of fastballs in, cutters in. Porcello, doesn't matter, right-handed, left-handed, coming in there on Joey Wendell. They just continue to pound in right there. Carlos Gomez, that ball is actually meant to be away, but Carlos Gomez doesn't know that. Another fastball in, and you wonder if the Rays, getting wise to that style of attack, start to jump Velazquez here.
Joey Wendell takes a pitch down. Well, it's good to see some extra base hits. That home run by Miller, 12 of the 16 hits this year were singles before the Miller home run for the Rays. Span had that great triple. There goes a runner. The pitch is popped up left side and playable, caught by Devers.
And even that again, trying to come in, and you tie up the hitter. That'll be interesting to see. These teams that, obviously the Yankees have. They've been watching film of this series, and will they attack the Rays the same way? Another fastball in. Not quite there, but the attempt was made to get it in there. Hitters do not like to get beat in and do not like to get challenged in.
Well, and as we've talked so often, if you're a pitcher and you can get it in there, a lot of good things can happen. But there are a lot of bad things can happen if you don't get it where you want it inside there.
It's a high risk, high reward pitch. And over time, if you can continually get it in there and have success, you start to take, you just start to take some of the manhood away of these hitters. I mean, you can feel it, just the aggressiveness seep, because they keep getting beat in, and no one likes that. Not to mention just how about it opens up the outer part of the plate. There's another fastball in, sinker down and in.
1 ball, 1 strike to Wilson Ramos.
Hitters have to quicken up a little bit in anticipation of that pitch, and it leaves off speed and pitches down and away. You're even more susceptible to those.
Ramos, just a little bit of that one. It's 1 and 2. Well, the Rays have taken an early lead. Got a couple of extra base hits from Gomez last night in that 3-2 loss. A double and a home run for Carlos Gomez. Duffy had a double opening day. Duffy with the base hit in this inning, following up the home run by Miller with that single. Ground ball, that's a base hit. Sharply hit out of the reach of Bogarts, and down to second goes Duffy. And the Rays bat showing some life in the second inning.
Well, Velazquez did a great job of getting ahead of Ramos on some good pitches, and then look where he leaves this. Right down the middle at the belt. He's lucky that that ball was nothing more than a single, because Wilson Ramos, we've seen him launch pitches out over the plate like that.
Now Malik Smith. Pitch in, and he fouls it back. Strike one. He really got that pitch in there.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did, and he had better, because we've seen a couple leak out over the plate, and he doesn't have right now the late movement, the late life, or the velocity to be missing out over the plate. Those have been hit hard.
That starts to be contagious for hitters as well. They go up there looking, and if they miss that spot, they put a good swing on it. 1-1. Duffy at second and Ramos at first. 1 out, a run home on the home run by Brad Miller. Ball, 2 strikes. Pitch breaking in, moving in on Alex. Velazquez last year at Pawtucket, up and down between Boston and Pawtucket. He was 8-4 with their AAA club and 3-1 with the Red Sox. 2. And after spending the year before with the Aceleros del Norte in Monclova, the Steelers of the North in Monclova, Mexico.
Oh, easy. Easy over there. I knew you were doing your research, but I didn't know that we had pronunciations hammered down too.
Well, I want to give them their due respect.
Yeah, well, you just dazzled.
They're always fascinating, as we touched on last inning on these signings. The guy's been around 28, 29 years old. Tap, foul. Next thing you know, Cubs signs him, and he pitched well. He had a 2.21 ERA at AAA and a little over 2.90 for the Red Sox last year. Just getting a look at him today.
It goes to show you that there are eyes everywhere. Like you said, the analytics and metrics probably not so much in the scouting of Velazquez, at least early on. But you're down there, you find a guy.
That's foul. Well, an acquaintance of yours, Allard Baird, was part of the discovery and signing process of Velazquez.
Now he's a baseball lifer, a baseball junkie. Not surprising after getting to know him.
And don't you love those guys?
Yeah.
That's a part of the game that you don't get a lot of spotlight, but those are the great guys to get to know in this game. They're looking for talent like this.
And Allard Baird, when I got to know him, he was the general manager of the Kansas City Royals. When they were making their little run in 2003, got off to that great start, trying to hold on at the end. He was the guy that traded for me from the Indians organization. And so getting to know Allard over the years, and he leaves the post as the general manager, and now he's out finding the Hector Velazquez of the world.
Yep.
I'll tell you how much he loves this game and loves to unearth talent and to be able to figure out if it can work at the big league level.
Well, here's Malik Smith working the count full. He's turned this into an 8-pitch at bat so far. It's popped toward the left field line. J.D. Martinez, ball just fair. And that's the second out. So with 2 gone, 2 men aboard, first and second, a run home, and it will be up to Adeiny Echeverria if the Rays are to capitalize on this opportunity anymore. Inside. Adeiny with a run batted in this series, and there's a fly ball down the left side that's going to hook foul and just beyond the bullpen. Found out of play.
No attempt by our man down there, and taking some ribbing for him. Well, he was asking, why wasn't the catch made? But smartly played.
Yeah. Right
there, smartly played, because that ball high in the air, you can't assume that the left fielder's not going to make it over them.
Yeah.
Line drives you can go after right away.
Yeah, there's a greater sense of urgency from a protection point of view on line drives.
He's like, look, if that little soft fly down the line, foul territory, is going to threaten you, well, that's your problem. I'm fine right here.
Yeah, and you've got to be able to make those decisions quickly, because you could run into interference, or you actually could be the interference. if you don't make the right decision.
Don't want to be that guy.
Nope.
Got an injury on his throwing hand, though. Index finger. Looked
Yeah,
like.
might have to investigate that.
Yeah, there it is.
Still,
there it is.
Still ready, though. I mean, he's still suiting up and ready to go. Playing hurt.
Surrounded by gamers.
Yep. A 2-1 count on Echeverria. That's going to make it 3 balls and a strike. So this turns into an extended inning here for Velazquez, especially the last 2 hitters. He went 3-2 to Malik Smith in a 9-pitch advantage, 3-1 to Echeverria. Ground ball to the shortstop. Bogarts with the underhanded toss to Holt. The Rays leave 2, but they get a run on the home run by Brad Miller. He hit the first pitch here in the bottom of the 2nd out to right center. Through 2, the Rays lead 1-0. Race Flex Pack is the most versatile ticket package in town. Save up to 50% off the single game ticket price and get 5 lower level regular season tickets for just $98 for a limited time. Get a 20th anniversary pint glass set presented by Dex Imaging with each pack purchased. Visit RaysBaseball.com/flex. Rays up. Top of the order up there for Boston. Mookie Betts, and he is hit by that pitch. Well, first pitch and Betts is aboard, and that pitch just would not bend the way Faria wanted it to.
Yeah, sometimes those curveballs come out funky and you see it just slip out. Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, had very little bite except for the bite that Betts felt in his shoulder with that breaking ball. So here's Devers taking a big cut. Boy, that's a vicious swing. Strong hitter up here. Swings hard. Devers lifted a fly ball to Gomez in right field in the first inning. a strike called, 0-2. Manny Gonzalez working the plate this afternoon. We've seen all 4 members of this umpiring crew behind the plate in this series. And a cut and a miss. Well, he went up that time. Had him down 0-2 and then went up with a fastball and got Devers to chase.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the only counts that you're going to see Devers go after a pitch like this. This ball meant to be in, but ends up middle of the plate at the shoulders. But because, you know, 0-2, sometimes you take some swings that you'd like to have back, and I'm sure that's the case with Rafael.
J.D. Martinez, ground ball, stopped by Duffy. Out at second and safe at first. Nice play by Duffy, stretching to his left to come up with that ball to get the lead out. Betts forced at second. Martinez reaches on the fielder's choice.
Boy, did everything he could. Great job on the dive up from the knee. A nice feed there to Wendell. Well, the Rays, they did it right. It's just that J.D. Martinez was able to hustle his way and beat it out.
You know, we're only 4 games in, and the Rays happy to see Duffy healthy. And one of the reasons is his infield play. He's made some good plays down there. He's been impressive.
He had that one throw. It was a little bit short, but his glove work has been tremendous. You saw it there in the dive. There's been a couple of tricky hops that he's played very well.
Bogarts, the hitter. A little tap towards short. And Chavarria throws a strike to first. He had Bogarts out in front. And that retires the side with a man left. Rays lead this game 1-0. Top of the order for the Rays here in the bottom of the third. Denard Span leads off. Then Kevin Kiermaier and Carlos Gomez against Hector Velazquez. The pitch is a ball. Span lifted a fly ball into left to start the Rays offense in that 1-2-3 first. Speaking of short innings, quick innings, that's what Faria had in the top of the third. Gave up a base runner when he hit Betts with the first pitch, and then went from there and made just 6 pitches total in the inning. So that really helps after a couple of 22 pitch innings for him. 1-1 the count on Span. 2. Velazquez started pitching with Campeche in Mexico in 2010. And then last year made 3 starts with the Red Sox. 8 games overall. Span is out on strikes.
And in keeping with the theme, they are just not deviating from the game plan, really, and nor should they. Those pitches have given the Rays hitters fits outside of Brad Miller with a little ambush action. Another fastball in, and you see the swing by Denard Span. Was fooled by that pitch, not expecting it there.
Kevin Kiermaier. And he shows bunt. Takes the pitch for a strike. Kevin lifted a fly ball to center field his first time. Fouls a fastball back.
I mean, it's pretty remarkable. Boston not even trying to hide what they're doing. It's just one after the other. You know, Price was using the fastball and the cutter in there. Sale, the fastball, the slider off of that. Velazquez, he's trying to do the same thing. First pitch slider, then the fastball in there. Almost going away just for show.
And a cut and a miss on the fastball and a little extra on that fastball.
In again. I'm going to stop bringing it up and just let everybody enjoy and watch what they're trying to do. But it was slider in, fastball in, and then fastball in again.
Yeah. There's Carlos Gomez. It's up the right side, foul. Pitch moving away from him a little bit there. Gomez made it interesting last night when he homered in the 8th inning. That made it a 3-2 game. The Rays did get a runner on after that. They got Duffy up to second on a single and a steal. They eventually fell a run short. And a nice play there on the carom. He's got that angle down.
Does. Right off the boards. Even with the bad index finger. Good transition to the toss.
Yep. Just checking to make sure he's okay.
You wonder if he was if the spike curveball is part of his repertoire. Maybe he was digging in a little too deep on that pitch.
Yep. Well, that would cause you to pay a little extra attention to an injury like that because it's a valuable part of his game.
But it does put him on the shelf.
And a swing and a miss. Fastball, and Velazquez strikes out the side. We go to the 4th inning, 1-0 Tampa Bay. on this errorless streak of 54 consecutive errorless games. The longest in club history for a shortstop. Now he's had, coming into this game, 193 chances during that stretch. And the club record for that's held by Chris Gomez with 242 in 2002.
Are Chris Gomez? Wait, the Gomez is.
Yeah.
I've got my brain rattled right now.
I was telling you, Chris Gomez played shortstop here,
and
flawless in all those chances. There you see, that was in 52 games. Echeverria has covered 54 games, but fewer chances, but still perfect in that stretch.
Well, how about the fact that when Adeiny Echeverria was brought in, Rays shortstops as a collective, their fielding percentage was 14th out of 15 teams in the American League, and he turned it around overnight. In fact, that first play that we showed, I think he'd been a Ray for about 10 minutes when he made that play.
Yep. Well, you talk about helping your pitching staff. You put an outfield together and anchored by Kiermaier in center, and then you add Echeverria at shortstop. Big help to your pitching staff. Gives them a lot of more confidence than they'd have anyway. That's a nice pitch for a strike, full count to Moreland.
You're not afraid to pitch contact. You know, go for the strikeout when you need to go for the strikeout. But outside of that, just make a good quality pitch and let your defense do the work. Obviously, that's going to make you more efficient as a pitcher, allow you to get deeper into the game. I mean, there's a trickle-down effect. Some guys, they feel like they need to strike out everybody, you know, and that's great, but that runs that pitch count up pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, hey, if that was a good enough philosophy for Greg Maddux, probably a good enough philosophy for anybody. You know, he said his goal every game was to pitch a perfect game and his pitch count be 27. This one on the ground, left side, and Duffy takes care of that. And so does Miller on the receiving end. So that's the first out.
I'll tell you, Brad Miller has picked up his infielders on a number of occasions. This throw here by Duffy looks like it's going to pull Miller off, and it certainly does. But was it after the fact? After that ball within the confines of the glove? Let's see. Foot still on. Yeah, they got him.
Yeah, they got him.
Don't you love what replay's done?
Yes, it's added another dimension to a wonderful afternoon at the ballpark.
I guess it gives us something to talk about, but you know, and it's not just baseball. You see what replay's done in football and, and some of the issues that they're having. Sometimes too much.
Well, it's had a positive impact on the economy as well. More jobs.
That is true.
So
that's what we're all about right now. Job creation.
Fly ball
creation.
To center. Kiermaier is there to make the catch. So 2 up and 2 down. Jackie Bradley Jr. There's a foul ball back and out of play. Strike 1. Hey, how about that?
How about it?
Souvenir for that young lady. Good stuff. And it's a first pitch strike for Faria against Bradley Jr. Got ahead of him and then walked him in the second. Jake, a couple of relatively high pitch count innings in the first and second, but a great third, just 6 pitches. He Retired the first two here in the fourth, and a ground ball. Faria will cover. Oh, and he drops it. Well, he had the third out right there as Miller hung that one up for him, and the ball pops right away from Faria.
You wonder if the ball ever made it into the glove. It was a nice feed there by Brad Miller, but you could see Jake Faria peek down because he's close to first. The eyes leave the baseball as he checks for the bag. Watch his head go right down before the ball was secure, and that's why the play wasn't made. The head goes down a hair too soon.
Well, that will give the Red Sox an extra out here in the fourth. Faria dropping the feed. Swihart takes ball one. Well, he was on the verge of a very quick inning. That would have been, I think, a 12-pitch inning. He starts another sequence here against the Boston DH. Oh, look out. The bat is into the dugout, into the Rays dugout on that foul ball, and the count is 1-1. Well, they put up extra screening, but not in front of the dugout, so they have to be heads up.
Everybody got a good read, so everybody paying attention.
That's right. Duck. Rocco had a great read from the very beginning and didn't move at all. And it's a base hit the other way. Smith with the pickup. Bradley moves to second. Swihart keeps the inning going. You know, the other thing about an error like that, not only does it extend this inning, but you know, it moves the lineup so that there'll be some good hitters get either an extra at bat or come up there even quicker against you.
In theory, wouldn't you like to lead off the top of the fifth, 8-9-1?
Yep.
As opposed to now, unless there's a pickoff or you know, somebody caught on the bases, you're going to, at best, lead off with Betts, top of the order in the fifth.
The ball and no strikes the count.
Yeah, that's not taking anything away from Swihart or Holt. They can both hurt you. However, as a pitcher, you'd love to go out there at 8-9-1, face those guys as late as you can and get it rolling from there.
It's 2-0. There's Betts on deck. Yeah, here's a situation now where you're actually hoping that you do lead off the next inning with Betts, because you don't want to see him in this inning. Faria behind Holt. Ball's headed toward the corner. Is it fair or foul? That is a foul ball. Yeah, you get down in that area with a low wall, it gets a little scary. And the ball enough slice on it to be foul.
Made everybody a little bit nervous as you see that slicing action, Dwayne. You're talking about. Took a man right out of his chair. Down. Down goes. You got the baseball at least.
Yeah,
like.
I hope so. I think everybody's okay. That's great. But scare in more ways than one. Ground ball. Miller backs up. Faria covers and is there to grab this one to retire the side. No runs in, an error, 2 left. Bottom of the 4th coming, 1-0 Rays. Bullpen box. Host your group in this private party area located just steps from the Rays bullpen. Reserve the Papa John's bullpen box by contacting Group Sales at 888-FAN-RAYS. Email Group Sales at raysbaseball.com or visit raysbaseball.com today. Brad Miller. After the first pitch, hit the first pitch he saw in the 2nd inning, 385 feet out of here for a home run. Foul that one right back.
And how about Velazquez coming right back in on Brad Miller? That's exactly where he hurt him in his first at bat. Maybe not believing what he just saw.
Fly ball into center. Bradley Jr. is there to make the catch. Now Matt Duffy on his way to the plate. Duffy singled his first time up today, had 3 hits in last night's game. Fastball to start him. So fly ball short left and caught by Martinez. You know, Velazquez last year when he came up with the Red Sox, as we mentioned, he spent most of his time with AAA Pawtucket, but was in a handful of games, 8 games, 3 starts with the Red Sox. And in his debut against Oakland, he gave up 6 earned runs in 5 innings. And in all the other games combined, he was 3-0 with a 0.92 ERA. Joey Wendell. And a first pitch fastball is in there for a strike. Well, he's persistent, Velazquez. There's a base hit into center field. Wendell takes a big turn at first and hangs on. So the Rays second baseman is aboard.
It almost looked like there that Velazquez kind of babied that off-speed pitch, and he pulled it. And that's the split. Arm speed slowed down. It didn't have very good finish and ended up in a bad spot. And Wendell takes full advantage. Stays right down and through. Back up the box.
So with 2 outs, the Rays have a base runner. Pitch is wide. Wendell picking up his first hit as a member of the Rays. He had been up in a handful of games with Oakland. Back in at first. Wendell came to the Rays with 36 big league games, a little over 100 at bats, and a .266 average for his time in Oakland. A couple of stints over the last couple years. He's at first. Ramos bounces the fastball foul. 1-1. Two. Two balls and 2 strikes. Up with that pitch down and in. Off speed to Ramos. More time in there for ball 3.
And nice job by Ramos to not bite. They went right back to that same pitch with conviction. Feeling okay, you can hold off on it once, okay, that's fine, but you're not going to be able to do it twice, and he did, and now should get a pitch that's hittable. Should get a pitch.
Runner on the move here with 2 outs and that 3-2 pitch, and that's fouled.
Well, that does allow Wendell to get a full head of steam.
Off he goes, and there is ball 4. Velazquez persistent in there to Ramos, and he finally walked him after getting ahead in the count.
Man, a lot of off speed. I think they were 3 basically change-ups that he tried to finish him off with in there. Didn't command any of the 3, and that allows this inning to be extended.
2 on, 2 out. Malik Smith's going to be the hitter. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Brad Miller, the difference in this game right now with his first home run of the year. With 2 gone, the Rays have put 2 men on. Smith lifted a fly ball to left, caught by J.D. Martinez in his only at bat so far in this game. Fouls it back for a strike. The Rays had 3 hits in the second, one of them Miller's home run, another hit and a walk here in the 4th. That pitch disappeared on Alex Smith. One and two.
Well, that pitch right there sets up going right back down, maybe with that split. Change of an eye level up in the count.
Well, he started him that way. Let's see what he does here ahead. The fastball, he chops it foul.
Or we should have probably guessed fastball in.
Yeah, that's been the heavy trend so far, with occasionally that change up. Alex taps it foul right back. Forces another pitch. The Rays and the Red Sox finishing out this 4-game series. They'll play 19 times against each other before completing the season series, and 10 of those will be by the end of April. So we'll see a lot of each other here over the next few weeks. Into center field, Bradley Jr. positioned perfectly, makes the catch. 2 men left. We go to the 5th inning. 1-0 Rays. Your local Ford dealers. Rays wrapping up their first homestand of the year, just 4 games against Boston. Rays in the comeback victory here opening day Thursday with a 6-4 win. They dropped 1-0 and 3-2 decisions to the Red Sox over the last 2 days, and this afternoon the Rays have a 1-0 lead moving into the 5th. Jake Faria is on to face the top of the batting order again. Third time he's faced Mookie Betts, who is singled and he's been hit by a pitch. 1 strike the count. Alvarado up in the bullpen for the Rays. 70 pitches so far for Jake Faria. And a shot off the glove of Wendell, who was shaded that way, actually pulled over on the other side of the bag, the shortstop side of the bag. Could only get his glove on that hard hit ball. And that's a base hit. Here it is.
Yeah, defensed very, very well. However, you hit a ball that hard and you've got very little time to react to it. And so you can be positioned properly, but the ball was hit just too hard.
That's on for the 3rd time. He has 2 of the 3 hits collected by Boston. Devers takes a pitch as it pops away from Ramos, but not far enough to give Betts any thoughts of an attempt to move up. It's a strike at the knees. 1-1. Faria holding the ball on Betts with a lead at first. Devers with another look at Carlos Fables, his third base coach. Cut and a miss, snap throw to first. Well, that's right on the bag, and Betts just does get back.
A little cat and mouse game going on here. You know, Mookie Betts got him earlier today. So did Jackie Bradley Jr. Then that secondary lead, you had better be ready to get back. Wilson Ramos not afraid to try to throw behind you. Keep an eye on that left foot, see if it gets out to the cut, and also the lean, the heavy lean.
Goes and stops.
I don't think he liked the jump. I think he was going, didn't like the jump that he got, and came out of it.
Count goes to 2-2 to Devers. Shot foul into the seats.
These good base stealers, they get that good lead. As you were talking about earlier, they kind of angle out that front foot and even drop step just a little bit so you can clear that hip a little easier. You still got to be able to get back to the bag with a good pickoff attempt.
Move over there. Red Sox have put the leadoff man on in the first, third, and fifth innings. And every time, that leadoff man has been Mookie Betts. Devers takes the fastball high.
Yeah, and you know what else Mookie Betts is doing here? Not only trying to get a good lead and maybe a good jump, but he's trying to affect the thought process of Jake Faria, trying to get Jake to worry a little bit too much about him over there and maybe make a mistake towards home plate or end up losing Beavers here.
Runner goes. The pitch is foul down the left side, out of play. Betts going again, and a walk to Devers. Third walk given up by Faria in this game, and now the Red Sox have a serious threat with men at first and second and nobody out. And the big addition, J.D. Martinez, due up, and we're going to get another mound visit here. So the Rays will talk it over. And boy, this is a challenge now with J.D. Martinez and Xander Bogaerts due. Any deeper, Mitch Moreland would be up there. Kyle Snyder out for the conversation with Faria.
Well, you go out there, you encourage your pitcher, you maybe go over some quick game plan stuff on J.D. Martinez here, what he might be looking to do and how you're going to counteract that. Get him to hit a ball on the ground and maybe look for 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, you'd love to see that. The Rays in a bit of a spot here. Boston 0 for 4 with men in scoring position today, and 4 for 30 in the series with runners in scoring position. So here's J.D. Martinez. This pitch is a strike. And Betts trying to get a big lead out there at second base, jockeying back and forth, and Faria concentrating right now on Martinez. Tap is foul. 0-2. Martinez hit the ball on the ground to Duffy back in the 3rd inning, and he hit into a force play, struck out looking in the 1st. Shoots a foul out of play up the right side. Count still 2 strikes to Martinez. In left field today, added primarily as the DH, coming off that great offensive season last year. And a line drive into left for a base hit on an 0-2 pitch. Betts will score. That will tie this game. Stopping at second, Devers. Martinez drives in the run with a line single. It's 1-1. So nobody out with 2 men on, and out of the dugout comes Kevin Cash.
There's not enough finish on that split changeup there by Faria. It stays up enough that J.D. Martinez able to rocket it out there to left field. Malin Smith makes his way over to get to that baseball. You know, initially Betts kind of freezing because that line drive had to make sure it was going to get through, but he was able to pick it up and score and tie it up.
And a call to the bullpen, now brought to you by the Florida Lottery. scratch-off top prize ever, $15 million. The Florida Lottery. It's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Jose Alvarado, the new pitcher. Xander Bogaerts will be the hitter. Jake Faria pitching 4 innings plus 3 men in the 5th. And the fastball is in there at 98 for a strike. So 83 pitches today for Faria. It's a foul ball back, hard stuff again. That one in at 98. Alvarado coming in with the heat. Red Sox have had men on base in every inning. They managed to tie the game. Now men first and second. No outs in the 5th and an 0-2 count to Bogaerts. He's been red hot. Hits it on the ground foul. Bouncing it toward the stands. Back to third.
Well, it'll be interesting to see exactly how Kevin Cash pieces this game together going forward. Obviously tied up right now. Your starter ends up going 4+ coming off of a bullpen day lurking tomorrow. And so bullpen usage will be something to keep an eye on here.
And a big strikeout right there. That's the first out. He got ahead of him and finished him, and that has not always been easy to do with Bogaerts.
Until you see something like that, a little slider at 90 miles an hour with some late bite.
Yeah, you turn it up with Alvarado. The fastball's at 98, sometimes 100. The slider's at 90. Here's Mitch Moreland. Down and in. And sometimes that fastball gets in there to the catcher quicker than he seems to anticipate as well. Quick to the hitter, also quick to the catcher sometimes.
I think Manny Gonzalez thought that that ball was going to end up between his legs and to the backstop. I mean,
turn, nothing doing back there. Well, the Rays get the right-hander Chirinos up in the bullpen. Now starting to throw back to second. Well, they had Devers jockeying back and forth and a little move, and for a moment it appeared that Alvarado may have caught him in mid-step.
yeah, inside move as he was going, and that throw behind Echeverria, a nice scoop by him. They did have him. He just let that ball go arm side.
Move again, so a lot of attention back there with Devers at second.
Well, you're looking over there at Matt Duffy, who's well off the bag, and you know the thought is the further he gets off the bag, the more it becomes a race to the bag against a pitcher who's not particularly quick to the plate.
cut and a miss by Moreland. Take a look at the left-right splits. How about that for Alvarado last year? Against righties 156 and lefties 298.
Odd to say the least. I don't think that those numbers will hold.
That's a strike. 1-2. Faria pitching into the 5th today. Fly ball center field. Kiermaier's going to be there to make the catch. Devers halfway down to third, and the throw back to second base. He gets back in. Moreland is the second out. So with 2 outs, 2 men on in a 1-1 ball game, and it's going to be Christian Vasquez, the catcher. Vasquez 0 for 2, hits it on the ground, and a stop by Wendell, who gets up and makes the play. Throw to first in time to get Vasquez and strand 2 Boston runners. Nice little play by Wendell on a sharply hit ball the other way. Red Sox settle for a run. They leave 2, and we go to the Rays half of the 5th. The game is tied 1-1. The Yankees and the Rays looking at a bullpen day there. And then Wednesday, Chris Archer against Luis Severino, with Tuesday available to protect opening day. And the weather, oh, there's a liner going to be caught right off the bat of Echeverria, caught by Holt. And the weather situation could be such that they might need more than just that Tuesday day off, because look at that, snow Monday and then rain on Tuesday, and for that matter pretty good chance of rain on Wednesday.
You know, there's analytics metrics, and then there's bringing the forecasts into setting up rotations, how you use your bullpen today. You know, the interesting thing is that there's a winter weather advisory up there in New York from 2 a.m. Later tonight, early tomorrow morning through 2 p.m. And so they're talking about 1 to 3 inches of snow and then clearing tomorrow afternoon. But then Tuesday's supposed to be showers in the morning and then a steady rain the rest of the day. So that looks even iffy. You maybe have that window tomorrow afternoon.
So clear off the snow.
Well,
a quick game in.
Yeah.
And then take a rainy day off.
It will be interesting to see how that plays out. The timing couldn't be much worse with the weather moving in. But it kind of looks like it could be that way the entire trip.
Well, 2 strikes the count to Denard Span. Kiermaier's on deck. Ball game in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Dwayne, there's a chance by, you know, second, third game in Boston, you may get an inning.
That would not be good.
I don't know.
Hey, they got the lefty up in the Boston bullpen again. Pointer up. Pop to the left side. Devers back out there to make the catch. The 2 outs. Now Kevin Kiermaier. Well, the Rays have left 4 men. Got their run on the home run by Brad Miller. Red Sox through 5 have stranded 8. J.D. Martinez with a base hit drove in Mookie Betts. After Betts had reached for the 3rd time today already. There's Kevin Kiermaier. Bouncing one foul to the far reaches of the dugout. One and one now. Kiermaier is behind in the count. Out in front of the pitch, and that put him behind in the count, with Carlos Gomez waiting on deck for the Rays. Two balls, 2 strikes. Cut to miss. He came right with that fastball. Topped it out at 93. That's the way he got Kiermaier on a fastball back in the 3rd. On to the 6th, 1-1. Yankee slugger Giancarlo Stanton. Leading off the 6th, Jackie Bradley Jr. facing Jose Alvarado. Alvarado got out of a big spot in the 5th. Starts the 6th, and a fastball a little high. Actually, a little break to that one. 1 ball, no strikes. Bradley to be followed by Swihart and then Holt. There's the fastball up and in and by him. 1-1. Two and one. Chirinos limbering up in the bullpen again. Some heat, but high. And the count is 3-1.
You know, when you see how the Rays bullpen breaks out with the 4 guys down there that can go multiple innings, and then more of your one, inning guys, and the way that Kevin Cash saw that last half inning, potential turning point in the game in the 5th. So you bring in your hard throwing Alvarado to get out of that situation, and then all of a sudden maybe you go back to Chirinos to give you a little bit more length to get you to the back end of the bullpen. That will be interesting to see how you put together bullpen days, how you combine other days, bring in a guy like Alvarado to get a couple outs in the middle of the game, then go back to a guy that can give you a little bit more length.
Yep. Well, you got left on left here with Bradley against Alvarado. It's popped up. Will carry out of play.
Bullpen use in the early part of this season is already something garnering a lot of attention.
Yeah, a lot of it.
I mean,
a lot of attention and a lot of use.
Yeah. Well, how about the Phillies? Gabe Kapler as the manager, new manager of that ball club.
Yeah, some really interesting things going on there.
Well, he went to get a picture, to take a picture out of yesterday's ball game with nobody warming up.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens.
Well, and on top of that, in 28 innings this year already for the Phillies, they've used 21 pitchers to get through 28 innings. I mean, at that rate, your bullpen's blown by the end of the month.
Yeah, maybe they didn't have anybody up because they didn't have anybody left. I mean, or they just refused to set up tired already. I mean,
and what do you do if
what a rate of usage that is.
How about that? 28 innings, 3 ball games, 21 pitchers used. Not individual pitchers, but 21 moves.
Yeah.
They haven't been that active calling pitchers up.
Three-two again. Up the middle, right over the second base bag. And Bradley singles against the left-hander Alvarado.
Well, we pointed 2 things out this ball game. Jackie Bradley Jr.'s not had a lot of success against Rays pitching. However, lefties have had some success off of Jose Alvarado. And right here again, a ball in the middle of the plate, and it's just hammered back up the middle.
And we're going to get a pitching change. Alvarado will depart with a man on. Call to the bullpen brought to you by the Florida Lottery.
before the game. And last night, another guy made his Major League debut. Ryan Yarbrough threw 4 innings. He is a Lakeland native, and I spoke with him after the game. He said he felt great, said when he jogged out to the mound for the first time, he couldn't even believe what was happening. And his family was also in attendance. His mom even told me that she was on cloud 9. And Yarbrough said the best part of it all was being able to celebrate with family and sharing it with Malik Smith, who he played with in college. And it seems like he might play a big role in these bullpen days, as the Rays are planning on another one, like you guys said, tomorrow in New York, guys.
Yeah, do we have another pitcher out here making his Major League debut? Yanni Chirinos in this game. First pitch is fouled back. Swihart, a switch hitting catcher by trade. He's the DH today and made this club based on the strength of his versatility. As you see, Chirinos last year in the minor leagues with some very good numbers. Down, and a nice job to cover up that pitch by Ramos to keep it in front of him. 1-1.
It was so far out in front. And you've got a guy on first base that can run, trying to get into scoring position here with nobody out. That was a great smother.
Well, the Red Sox have had men on base in every inning. They put the leadoff man on in 4 of the 6 innings. And we're still in a tie game, 1-1. Swihart fouls it out of play. Well, Chirinos with that great sinker, heavy sinker, and that's been one of the big reasons the Rays have been so impressed with him.
Well, and he's a tall guy. He gets good velocity on it, 92, 93 we've seen, and working it downhill. A lot of ground balls, a lot of early in the count outs, a lot of potential for double play balls, which is what you'd like to see right here.
And a strikeout will do. That's the first out. Bradley still at first. We'll take a look at this one disappear.
Split those fingers, and there's the finish. You know, that pitch is designed. You can see the tumbling actions that comes out of the hand, but it stays in the strike zone, bottom of the strike zone, and all of a sudden the design of the pitch is that as the hitter has to commit to a swing, that's when it starts to tumble out of the zone, and by then it's too late to hold up.
Now Brock Holt. Pitch out, pops away from Ramos, and Bradley down on one knee over there at first.
He might have been caught in between steps as that ball popped away, started to try to bear down and maybe get a jump towards second. That ball just kept running in and further in. That's that tough catch with the thumb down. Bradley Jr. assumes a catch, and now, yeah, gets caught in between steps and take a knee.
That's a strike to Holt. He's lined out and grounded out to first. Now the sinker always a great weapon for Chirinos, and that split change the last month and a half of last year really made tremendous strides with that pitch in the minor leagues. It became a devastating weapon for him. Making his major league debut here in the 6th inning against Boston in a tie game. Wide, and it's 3-1. Mookie Betts on deck. be a strike. The count is full.
Back and forth between the sinker and the split. About a 6-7 mile an hour difference between the two. Late action on both.
Runner goes, pitch is up and pops away from Ramos, and with Bradley breaking, thinking about third base, taking a big turn at second, but holds on. Bradley Jr. was off with the pitch. Holt winds up at first. That ball popped out of the mitt. Well, there was a distinct possibility that Bradley might try to go to third, but Ramos hustled after it to prevent that.
Too wide of a turn and didn't realize that pitch had gotten away as far away as it had in time.
Well, men at first and second. Men on base in every inning, in scoring position in 5 of the 6 innings for Boston. And the top of the order, Mookie Betts at the plate. Pitch is a strike. Betts has singled, been hit by a pitch, and singled again. There's a steal and a run scored. Betts drove in 102 runs last year. Bounces it foul, takes the count to 2 strikes. That hits him. The 0-2 pitch. A fastball hits Mookie Betts. Betts hit by a breaking ball back in the third. And this was a fastball on an 0-2 pitch.
You know what, Dwayne, look at that. A split gone awry.
It's exactly what it is.
It certainly stayed straight as an arrow, and that's never a good sign for that pitch. So Mookie Betts hit once again, and this time in a advantageous count for Chirinos, and it loads the bases, unfortunately.
Bradley Jr. goes to third. Holt up to second base, and Betts hit by a pitch on that split finger pitch. And the Rays talk it over on the mound using one of their mound visits.
You know, and Kyle Snyder once again going out there with one of his young pitchers. First and foremost, getting his mind right, calming him down. Obviously, you hit a guy 0-2, you get a little frazzled by that, and reminding him with your stuff, one pitch away, ground ball, double play, you're out of the inning, no harm, no foul. That's what you got to be thinking about right here.
Rafael Devers 0 for 2 with a walk. He's after the first pitch. 1 strike on the foul ball.
And Rafael Devers, an accomplished hitter. However, he's still young himself. And so you saw on that swing with the fastball well off the plate how aggressive he's going to be. Take advantage of that.
Into the dirt, blocked by Ramos.
Getting a workout between the blocks and the balls popping out of the catcher's mitt. A busy inning here for Wilson Ramos.
Getting all parts of the body, limbs and trunk and everything else, trying to keep that ball in front of him.
cryotherapy. It's going to be the new word.
Yeah, that's it. One and one here, the count to the Boston third baseman. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Best velo of the day. Great job of staying behind. Look at that movement. That's at 95.
Yep. A pitch like that is very exciting if you're the pitching coach. Boy, that is a nice pitch. 94, 95, that kind of finish on it. And there's a broken bat, base hit into right. Bradley Jr. scores. Holt heads to the plate, and he is out. Red Sox take the lead 2-1. Holt out at the plate. Single. And a run batted in. Betts winds up at second. Devers drives in the run, and Holt is out. Gomez to Ramos.
Now this is a pitch that stays up, doesn't have that kind of down movement. It gives Devers a chance. Anyway, a sinker that stays up flattens out. I don't know why they challenged Carlos Gomez. I mean, that throw right on the money wasn't even close. Ball got out to him in a hurry. And Wilson Ramos applying the tag right there. Plenty of time.
Swing and a miss by J.D. Martinez. So it's a 2-1 ball game. Boston. Bradley opened with a base hit. That came against Alvarado, and the run is charged to Alvarado. Two. Oh, 2. Liner into left field. Malik Smith is there to make the catch, and he hangs on as he hits the deck to retire the side. Boston with a run in the inning. They'll leave 2, but they take the lead 2-1. Another look at Malik Smith and left. Rays coming into hit with Carlos Gomez coming up. and by your local Honda dealers. Well, the ballpark and rec, that's a new addition, new development here at Tropicana Field this year. Second level beyond the outfield. Rays now down by a run. First pitch, Gomez hits it on the ground to third. Devers throws him out. So Carlos Gomez now 0 for 3 in the first out in the 6th inning. Brad Miller has provided the Rays with their only run. That was a home run off Hector Velazquez in the 2nd inning, and here's that matchup again. Pitch is fouled back. Well, here's the thing so far in this series, if you think about it, the Rays offense has been held scoreless now in 27 of the 31 innings they've been up. And when you look at what the pitching has done, you know, they gave up 4 Thursday, but the Rays scored 6 and won 6-4. They gave up 1 run on Friday. They gave up 3 runs yesterday and 2 runs so far today. That's working out, that side of the ledger.
Well, they've definitely held up their end of the bargain. Boston starting rotation has been fantastic, though, and that's been tough to overcome. But still, you know, here you are, 2-1 ball game. A number of at-bats to go.
Count goes to 1-2 on Brad Miller. Rays had a couple men on after the Miller home run in the 2nd, left him aboard. Put 2 on with 2 outs in the 4th. Left those 2. Miller is out on strikes. Strikeout number 5 for the Boston right-hander.
And now 3rd time through in this particular at-bat with Miller. Velazquez stays away for the most part during the course of that at-bat. Stay behind the 4-seamer and get a little bit of late running action. Take it right up above the swing. Well placed.
It's a strike on the outside corner to Matt Duffy. Duffy 1 of 2. Lined a single into center field in the 2nd inning. 0-2. Velazquez started this game and for the most part was in. And you pointed out the change in approach to Miller. And he's aggressive to Duffy. Ahead of him 0-2. And there's one right back through the middle. And Duffy is aboard once again. Well, that pitch wound up on the opposite side of the plate in which they intended. And Duffy sent it right back through the middle.
Would you see how he pulled his hands in and stayed inside the baseball? That was a great piece of hitting. This ball running in. The hands come in close to the body. He's short, quick to the baseball. Watch those hands. Running in. Boy, that is pretty. And staying in the middle of the field. He's had some really good at-bats here the last couple of days.
Well, Joey Wendell is due up, and Alex Cora marches to the mound. He has gotten 5 2/3 from Hector Velazquez, and a call to the bullpen brought to you by the Florida Lottery. Up a run on 5 hits, surrendered a second inning home run to Brad Miller, and Marcus Walden will be the new pitcher.
Well, Marcus Walden, much like Bobby Pointer, made the team out of spring training as a non-roster invitee. Last season at Pawtucket, did a little bit of everything. Appeared in 29 games, started 15 of them. Put together a nice solid season.
Joey Wendell in there against him. Fouls the first pitch. Fastball in the low 90s. Walden, 29 years old, started his career in the Toronto Blue Jays organization. Down the right side, back toward the corner. One hop and to the wall. Duffy hits third, and they decide to hold him there on a double by Wendell. So Wendell against the right-hander Walden has his second hit of the game. And the Rays with 2 outs have something cooking.
Well, Walden comes right back in. That fastball cutting action. And it's in once again, but Wendell gets the jump on that pitch and is able to keep it fair down into the right field corner. And then all eyes immediately turn to Duffy. Is he going to be able to score? Obviously running on contact with 2 outs. And he is held up, so it's going to take something else to get him home.
Yeah, and a pretty clean job by Betts in the outfield of playing that one on one hop off the wall. Wilson Ramos swings through the first one. So the double by Wendell. Each team with 6 hits in this game. Fly ball into right. Betts backs up for this one, makes the catch, and the Rays will leave 2 men in scoring position. We're through 6, 2-1 Boston. Through the height. Catch Speak for Yourself with Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. Weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern only on FS1. Yonny Chirinos back to the hill as we go to the 7th inning. The Rays are down by 1 run, 2-1. Chirinos, the 3rd Rays pitcher. 1 run charge to Jake Faria, 1 to Alvarado. Chirinos against Xander Bogaerts. Ground ball to third. Duffy right there makes the play. Bogaerts gives the first out in the 7th. It will be Mitch Moreland coming up. A couple of ground ball outs and a fly ball his last time, 0 for 3. Which is a strike. Two. It's been a battling series here between these two clubs, the Red Sox and the Rays. Headed out of play, holds the count right where it is at 2 strikes. Chirinos last year spent almost all the year at Durham, a handful of appearances, 4 at Montgomery, and 23 starts with the Durham Bulls. The Rays minor league pitcher of the year, a combined 13 and 5, covering 27 starts. Carl Snyder has seen his work up front, close, and has been an important part of his development.
Well, you understand what makes him tick. You understand the mechanical issues that may arise and how to quickly fix them. And there's something to be said for that familiarity with a lot of these young pitchers getting an opportunity here. And Kyle Snyder is going to be a busy man this season and moving forward.
Tap to the left side, charged by Duffy in the throw to first. In time, he got him. They had to shift on, and that's a 5-3 put out with Duffy over in the shortstop area making the play.
Well, he's the only man over there. Let's see right there. Got a charge, come up with it, get a nice hop. Good feed. Second out. One more, he'll set a tie major league record.
Here's Vasquez. And the pitch is a strike. Christian Vasquez demise on a good play by Wendell in the 5th inning to leave 2 men on, ending the top of the 5th. He's off the pitch down. It's 1-1. That one just got him. Pitch brushed him, and he's hit by a pitch. It's the 3rd Red Sox batter hit by a pitch. Second by Chirinos.
That ball running in and catching Jersey. That extra size.
Vasquez now at first with 2 outs for Jackie Bradley Jr. The pitch to him is low.
I think about the hit batters today from Ray's pitching. You've got a breaking ball that hits Betts, a split that hits Betts, and then the fastball actually hit a button on Vasquez's jersey.
Right on the button.
They have not gotten their money's worth out of the 3 hit batters at all.
That's why it's still a calm and gentlemanly game at this point.
It's true. However, yeah, when does the ledger start to tip? You're not going to here in a 1-run game, but you're right. Usually you don't see 3 guys that hit with the same team, especially bitter rivals in the division like these 2 are, and everything still stays really calm. Trying to win.
2-1. Pitch moving in on Bradley Jr. Tied him up a bit. Lifted into left. Malik Smith is there to make the catch. It's 7th inning stretch time at the ballpark. Red Sox leave a man aboard in the top of the 7th. Boston 2 and the Rays 1. We welcome you back to Tropicana Field. Fans taking the 7th inning stretch in this 1-run contest. 2-1. Hits are even at 6 apiece. Boston scored a run in the 5th and another run in the 6th. The Rays had opened the scoring on Brad Miller's home run to lead off the 2nd. And in the home half of the 7th inning, it will be Smith, Echeverria, and Span. The Rays have been held in check by these starting pitchers for the Boston Red Sox.
Well, when you add it all up, you've got 13 and 11, 24 innings worth of work, and they've given up 2 runs. So they have put themselves in a position to win each and every game. It'd be great if the Rays would be able to find a way back against this Boston bullpen and end up with a split. When you look at what the starters have done against them in this series, averaging 6 innings a start, giving up a half a run in each. And yet, if you could come out 2-2, that'd be outstanding, and it shows you the good work that the Rays pitching staff's been doing too.
Alex Smith set to lead it off. Weiss has hit the ball into the air, once to left and once to center. 0 for 2. He's facing Marcus Walden. 1-0 Walden, as we mentioned when he entered the game, originally signed by Toronto, and he's been with a number of organizations in the minor leagues, and now at 29 makes it to the big leagues with Boston. Gave up a double to Wendell in the 6th, and then got Ramos on a fly ball. There's a line drive, but it's caught by Bogarts at shortstop. Walden had been with the Oakland organization, the minor leagues with Cincinnati, Minnesota, and the Red Sox, and now finally to the big leagues here. Alex Smith hit the line drive, but right to the shortstop.
You could see that Bogarts was kind of shading up the middle. All he had to do was put his glove up, and Alex Smith none too happy.
Echeverria takes the ball.
It is interesting when you follow guys like Walden and his journey.
Yep.
You know, all of those years through the minor leagues.
Kept the dream alive.
Yeah.
Here he is, 29, making his major league debut.
And you wonder, realistically, what he thought his chances were coming into camp. You know, I mean, really, when you're breaking it down, this is a first division ball club. You're a non-roster invitee who's 29 years old.
Yep.
Yes, you do have a good arm. There's no question about that. However, I'm sure you've had that kind of stuff, you know, for years. And so what do you think the chances are? And he just goes out there, gets the job done, and forces their hand. You know, that's always tough. When you think about a 40-man roster, you know, those things are typically loaded, especially if you're a top ball club.
Yep.
And so for you as a non-roster guy to force your way onto that list, so someone has to come off. I mean,
well, there are a lot of players signed and developed within an organization, so you have time and money tied up in those guys. Oh, a liner and right back at Walden. Another line drive. Echeverria hits it right back to the pitcher who makes the catch. So you figure if you're the guy non-roster and not really in the organization originally,
right?
Not that long either. You spent last year at Pawtucket. How much of a chance do you get? Take a look at this, though. We talk about reactions. That is the fresh catch of the day, courtesy of Bonefish Grill. Here's Denard Span. Pops it foul. Strike one.
Well, you can see the way he likes to work. He's got that little cut fastball. We've seen it sitting around 91 miles an hour. We've also seen the fastball that has a little bit of run and sink to it. He's gotten that up to 94, 95. But everything has been with velocity. Nothing soft as of yet.
And he gets a strike on the corner. And he misses with the fastball there. 2 outs. We're in the 7th. 1-2 the count to Denard Span. Chop back of first. Covering is Walden. Walden to Walden. Span is out, and the Rays are out in the 7th. 2-1 Boston. And Rich and Orestes, a little sneak peek at all right there. They'll anchor the coverage. Kevin Cash along with the press conference, and Michelle Margot has interviews from the clubhouse.
I mean, I'll tell you what, he is a busy man.
I'm not sure what office it is he's running for, but he's going to get elected.
the mic flags.
You don't have to be registered to vote, just vote.
That's right. Some precincts you can vote 2-3 times.
That's right. Why not? Well, we go to the 8th. Here's Swihart lifting a fly ball into shallow left for Malik Smith. So that's 1 away. Here's Brock Holt. Holt walked his last time. Officially 0 for 2. Yanni Chirinos delivers and throws a strike. Two and one. That's a strike, and the count is 2-2. Tapper foul holds the count at 2-2. Here's ball 3, and the count is full. Now the Red Sox have had men on base in every inning. 1 out, bases empty in the 8th. That's down toward Tom Goodwin and beyond toward the bullpen. A little business down there. Lifted into center. Kiermaier is right there, so a couple of fly balls, 2 up and 2 down. So the bases are empty for the top of the order, Mookie Betts. He's been on all 4 times. He's been hit twice. Singled in the first, stole a base. Hit by a curveball in the 3rd. Singled and scored in the 5th, hit by a pitch on a split in the 6th inning. One ball, no strikes. Backed up a little bit. Stayed up. 2-0. Outfield Devers on deck. And a strike down around the knees. 2-1. Ground ball 3rd. Duffy's throw to first, and there's a 1-2-3 inning turned in by Chirinos. Kiermaier, Gomez, and Miller due up for the Rays at the bottom of the 8th. show on television. First things first, weekdays on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Your morning routine just got a whole lot more fun. Well, the Rays will see the lefty Bobby Pointer again. And the first pitch delivered to Kiermaier's lifted into left. Martinez making the catch out there toward the corner. So one pitch, and we're going to get a pitching change. So Pointer in to face Kiermaier, got him. Carlos Gomez is due up. Well, they let him face him last night, hit a home run. That's not going to happen this time. Call to the bullpen brought to you by the Florida Lottery.
Canfield. It's time for the big story. Bases loaded, bottom of the 8th. David Robertson, Justin Smoak, 2 outs. Don't tell me. Well, David Robertson just did tell you. See you later. Justin Smoak, dead central. Blue Jays come roaring back.
Well, here at the Trop, new pitcher is the right-hander Matt Barnes to face Carlos Gomez. And the pitch is a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Oh, a big cut down to one knee goes Gomez. He was thinking about trying to ignite one there.
Well, a great pitch to turn it loose on.
Almost swung out from under the helmet there with that swing going after that pitch. And now he shortens and bunts it foul. A little piece of that one straight back.
No question, he caught everybody by surprise with that attempt. The way that he swung the bat on the previous pitch, and then all of a sudden a quick square around.
He's waiting for all the vertebrae to settle back into place after that cut. 1-2 count. Leaving it at 2-2. It's Miller on deck. And he's out on strikes. It's the second out of the inning. Well, he had that one pitch out over the plate and gave it a big cut. And now is out number 2.
Yeah, climb the ladder after the breaking ball in the dirt and start changing eye levels. And the hitter will tell you it's a lot of times you've got one pitch to work with. He got it early, and it didn't work out so well, and neither did the at-bat.
There's Brad Miller, who's accounted for the only run for the Rays with the second inning home run. Pitch in the dirt. Miller swung at the first pitch he saw on the afternoon and hit it out. Boston got a run in the 5th and one in the 6th. Now it's 2-0. Hector Velazquez started. He gave up the home run to Miller. He pitched 5 2/3, and Walden for an inning and a third. Pointer a third of an inning. Came on, got Kiermaier on the first pitch fly ball to left, and now it's Matt Barnes. And he walks. So Miller heads to first on a 4-pitch walk. And Matt Duffy will be the hitter.
It was clear that Matt Barnes, once he fell behind, wanted no part of Brad Miller and just laying a fastball out over the plate. Probably a smart move by him. Move on to Matt Duffy. Oh, how capable Brad Miller is of the long ball. We've already seen it here in today's game.
Barnes working in his 3rd game in this series. And gets the count running in his favor with a fastball called a strike. Duffy with a couple of line drives into center field, 2 for 3 on the day. It's foul into the screen, 0-2. Alex Colomé up, just in case the Rays can push the issue here. Down by a run in the bottom of the 8th. Upstairs, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Another 1-run game going. Rays margin of victory opening day 2 runs, and they've lost 2 1-run games in games 2 and 3 of the series, down 2-1 right now. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Twins have beaten the Orioles 7-0. Duffy waits for another 1-2 pitch. And that's foul outside third. Fielding still perfect down there in the visitors' bullpen.
They set a high standard over the last year or two, and continually checking on that index finger.
Yep, make sure it's okay. strike 3 call on the outside corner. 1-2 breaking ball. No runs, a walk, and a man left. We're headed into the 9th inning as we take a look at that strikeout pitch. It's 2-1 Boston. Way back in the 2nd inning when Brad Miller belted one 385 feet into the seats in right center. The lead held up until the 5th. The base hit by J.D. Martinez scored Mookie Betts to tie the game. And the tie broken in the 6th. Rafael Devers base hit to right scored Jackie Bradley Jr. The run charged to Jose Alvarado. So Alvarado, the pitcher of record for the Rays. Yonny Chirinos in there now to begin the 9th inning against Devers. The pitch is fouled back. Chirinos followed Alvarado. Chirinos starting his 4th inning. Kelly up in the bullpen for Boston. Devers hits a fly ball deep to center field. Kiermaier is going to go back to the track with room and makes the catch. Headed toward that triangle out there in the deep part of the outfield. And just as he got to the track, Kiermaier made the grab.
Well, it sounded good off the bat, but the play's big out there. Got him shaded correctly. That ball hit just too high. And Kiermaier, you saw him take a peek back there. Realizes he's got plenty of room and puts it away.
J.D. Martinez. Martinez drove in the run in the 5th inning. Two. Well, the Rays last night saw Kimbrel to close it out. They saw him Friday. And right now, Kelly is up in the bullpen for Boston in this 1-run game. And strike 3 called. So Martinez caught looking. 2nd strikeout for Chirinos in his stint.
Yeah, that slider, you can see Wilson Ramos set up down and away. It backs up on him a little bit, but it locks up J.D. Martinez for the 2nd out.
Xander Bogaerts. Flied out, grounded out, struck out, and grounded out again. 0 for 4. And this one disappears on him. Strike one. Backdating this hitting streak for Bogaerts coming into this game. It had extended to 12 going back into the regular season last year. And 0 for 4 so far today. Taps it foul, 0-2.
Manny Gonzalez doing a little solid there for Wilson Ramos. That was a slider that got foul tipped right off, looked like the thigh of Wilson Ramos. So you give him a little bit of time to get some feeling back.
I'll tell you, there's a great Venezuelan influence around the plate now with Ramos there from Venezuela. Gonzalez, Manny Gonzalez, the plate umpires from Venezuela, the first umpire from Venezuela. And you've got Chirinos on the mound in Venezuela.
People helping people.
That's exactly right.
Looking out.
And you got Bogart from Aruba at the plate. A ball, 2 strikes. Chirinos trying to keep this a 1-run game and give the Rays a shot in the bottom of the 9th. And a cut and a miss. Bogaerts out on strikes. So we'll go to the bottom of the 9th. The Rays will have Joey Wendell due up, followed by Wilson Ramos and Malik Smith. They need a run to keep it going. Thursday, charged with 4 runs in a third of an inning, and those 3 walks had a lot to do with that.
That's exactly right. Not only do you walk 3 guys, but even the hit in a bad count. And so you find yourself falling behind quite a bit, and you give an opportunity to the other team, and that's what the Rays are hoping for here. They need 1 run.
Andrew Benintendi in the game and left now as Kelly takes over on the mound. Rays down 2-1, and here's Wendell to lead it off. 2 hits today for the Rays second baseman, a single in the 4th and a double in the 6th. First pitch is a ball.
You've got to make him throw strikes, prove that he can throw strikes. That's been the issue with Joe Kelly. There's no questioning his stuff or velocity.
Pitch popped up left side. And Devers makes the call to third. So the leadoff man is retired. Wilson Ramos. Ramos has been on twice with a single and a walk. Last time hit a fly ball to right. Rays threatened to score a run on a 2-out single in the 6th and the double by Wendell. But Duffy was held at third. Now Ramos. Strike one to Wilson. Not hold. Quickly, Ramos is down in the count 0-2. Bit high there. 1-2. And strike 3 call. Kelly against the corner. 2 up and 2 down.
When you talk about the stuff, we saw a couple of good sliders to begin this at bat, and then 97. How about here, 99? Right there, maybe just off the edge, but close enough that Manny Gonzalez called it.
Well, here you are. The Rays won the first game 6-4 and lost 1-0, 3-2. They're down 2-1 here, so they've been outscored 10-9 in this series and an out away from dropping 3 of 4. Pitch is inside to Malik Smith. Boston in this series 6 of 36. 6 of 36 with men in scoring position. The Rays 3 of 16. So opportunities have been limited for the Rays offensively throughout this series. There's a liner base hit. Smith keeps the Rays' hopes alive with a 2-out single.
Well, and the immediate thought is, when does he go? 2 outs, speed to burn on first base. Got the head out, shortened the swing a little bit on that ball up and in. Well done by Malix. And now you wonder if and when he's going to go. Joe Kelly does not give up a lot of stolen bases.
Echeverria, the hitter. The pitch is upstairs. And Andy Echeverria 0 for 3 in this game.
There were 2 attempts against Joe Kelly a season ago, and that was in 58 innings. 1 for 2.
Echeverria coming into this series 2 of 5 against Kelly in his career. to first and a high peg. That almost took Moreland with it as he corralled that high toss.
Kind of flips that ball over there, drops the elbow, and the ball's going to sail.
A ball, no strikes, the count on Echeverria. Another move. Alex Smith back in. And a cut and a miss. 97 on the fastball.
And Echeverria had a good swing at it. Had a very good swing. 97 middle in.
There's a strike. 98 on the outside corner. And it's 1-2. Two outs. Alex Smith at first. And a chopper to third, foul. Holds the count right there. Kelly has never saved a game in the major leagues, has 4 in the minor leagues. He's trying to do that here. The Rays trying to prevent it. Runner goes. Pitch swung on and a line drive. Base hit into center. Smith stumbled around second, but will go to third. And the Rays are still alive. First and third with 2 outs. So the Rays down to their final strike, keep it going on this base hit.
Oh, that allowed Echeverria that ball down and away to get extended. He'd seen some good fastballs. He lines this one right over the head of Brock Holt covering second. Malik Smith with a abbreviated slide, pop-up slide. Get over to third. Here he goes. That's interesting. You could see when you heard the sound of the ball off the bat, Malik Smith flinch. And then goes down there at second base, not sure where that ball was hit.
So with mid on the corners at first and third and 2 gone. Denard Span will be the hitter.
You wonder if he thought that ball was lined right at him. You know, 2 outs, you're running, you hear contact, you just keep going.
Can lightning strike twice for the Rays here with Span stepping in. First pitch taken for a strike.
Well, as he went down and was able to pop up and get over to third base, that just increases the number of ways that you can score. You think about a ball in the dirt.
Span had the big triple in the 6-run 8th here on Thursday. Just trying to keep it going. Upstairs, it's 1-1. We'll go back to opening day. He want to hop the wall. Cleared the bases. Now he's up at the bottom of the 9th of this game. over to first. Echeverria back in. You know, Span with the Giants last year hit .272, but he had .345 with runners in scoring position. He was 30 of 87 with men in scoring position. One and one to count. Upstairs. It's 2-1. Well, he had a great at bat in the opening game of this season in the series to put himself in a position to deliver. A veteran at bat. So far, so good in this one. 2-1 to count.
The ability to slow things down. That's what that speaks to. Been here many, many times and understands exactly what he wants to do.
The 2-1. Span shoots it foul. That scatters the bullpen as the ball bounds out onto the surface in right field.
Boy, did he know what he was going to get right there. You know, tried 2 fastballs away, up above and out of the zone. And you start to think about the way that Boston has pitched the Rays all series long. In. Fastball in with that kind of velocity, and he is all over it. I mean, actually was too quick with the swing. And that's upper 90s.
So the count goes to 2-2. Alex Smith at third. Adeiny Echeverria at first. Very close, but in off the plate. And so we have a full count. For the ability to do this. Very similar to Thursday, when he went full count before delivering the triple. Full count here. 2 on, 2 out, bottom of the ninth. There goes the runner off first, and a swing and a miss, and that's going to end it. Today, the Rays fall to run short. No runs, 2 hits in the ninth with 2 men left on base, and it's a 2-1 final. Our Coors Light refreshing finish, the final out as the Rays push the Red Sox to the last pitch, and this one darting down and in, and Boston takes 3 of 4, outscoring the Rays in this 4-game series 10-9, but they take 3 of 4 and win this one 3-1. Velazquez the winner, Alvarado the losing pitcher. For Brian Anderson and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast and not the outcome. Rays hit the road tomorrow. We'll be with you at 12:30.